It's actually just two brothers, the same as it's always really been. You know, we were born right here in Chatham-Kent. It's a real story. We're real people working in here every single day, working extremely hard to make sure that we carry out the mission, home comfort done differently. So I think it's super important that you get to know who we are. You see our faces, because ultimately we aren't some private equity people somewhere else in North America. We're right here every single day, grinding away to make sure that you have an awesome experience with us. We are super passionate about it. We live and breathe it. Our lives are tied directly into this place, into everything we do. Nick and I were just 2 of 6 kids, born to 2 regular middle-class parents. There was nothing really special about us. My dad was an accountant, and my mom was a stay-at-home babysitter. She ran an in-home daycare, right? So the entire time I was growing up, she was always around, was always there when I came home from school, always available, which I think, to me, probably invaluable.
One time when I had the daycare kids coming in the door, he was probably only about 2.5 or 3, and I heard something pouring, and I thought, oh my goodness, what is it? I looked around the corner, and there he was pouring milk on the table, but it wasn't going in anything, just pouring. Like, it was just one of those kids. And then at our next house, supposedly helping the neighbor, he went over and he cut some of his flowers, and he loved his gardens. He was a very nice neighbor. And his wife, I just visited her not very long ago, her husband passed away, and she was saying, oh, we loved those kids. And I said, even Mitch, when he cut the flowers? And she said, oh yeah, we loved them. So he got into trouble, but he was kind of cute, and it was hard to get mad.
I mean, he was by no means bad. He was always, you know, looking to be the fun guy, and he was. Anytime we had like a birthday party or anything, he was the one like making it fun.
We just knew Dad as a hardworking guy, and he was an accountant. Not the accountant you would think of. You know, he sure worked on computers and pushed pencils all day, but he was the type of guy who knew how to work with his hands too, right? And he taught us everything we know when it comes to like building and making something with your hands.
No, Mitch was the guy who was like, cared about people, worked hard, he was always there for people, did all these like extracurricular things for them. Me and Mitch always got along. He hung out with all my friends in school too. So he was always like 2 years older than he should have been.
So as far as the kids go, there were 2 sisters, Vanessa and Rachel. Vanessa is the oldest sibling of us all, and right behind her comes Nick, which is my older brother and the other owner here at Handy Bros. Vanessa, Nick, then it's me, and we're all very close in age. Behind me, there's Rachel, the second sister, and then there's Sheldon, and then Wesley. Today, us 4 brothers all work together. Nick and I own the company together, and my dad also works with us here.
I mean, Mitch is he's a gentle giant, you know? He's always had the like persona of like when you look at him, you think you're kind of intimidated, but actually behind the scenes, he's a big softie. Mitch was the class clown kind of guy, probably. I don't know about in class, but with the family, if that makes sense. Me and Wes and Mitch always used to play like outside enacting Lord of the Rings. He was always Aragorn though. We never got to be the good guy, the good one. I was Legolas and Wes was obviously Gimli.
The first moment I can ever remember on Earth, you know, Nick and I were together. We've always been partners in everything.
I was 1.5 years old and I held him in my arms. And from that moment, he was always there. Couldn't even get rid of him barely. So we shared a room for a long time. His stuff was my stuff forever.
I just remember one time he came home from school and he forgot his little sister who was in JK at the time. And as soon as I said, where's Rachel? He just turned and hightailed it back to the school so fast. He felt so bad. And then another time someone was bugging Mitch or teasing Mitch and down the street, a neighbor kid. And as soon as Nick found out about it, he was over there to take care of it. And then once that Rachel would have been only, I don't know, she wasn't walking yet, so probably less than 1 year. And we lived at a house with long stairways down to the basement where our washer and dryer were. And I always kept the door shut. And she was in a walker, which we don't use anymore, but we were getting a new washer and dryer delivered. And the door was left open. And her front wheels were over, and Nick was holding on the back. And he couldn't have been more than, maybe 4 or 5. And he's saying, Mom, Mom. If it wasn't for him catching her, she would have been down the stairs. He was just had that very protective nature about him. Always has.
Me as a kid, like I was quiet, never said anything. Didn't have a ton of confidence. I loved being outside, I hated being inside. When I went to school or anything, I was tested on anything, I would just like shut down, like just give up.
When Nick was in school, like in public school, he had some difficult time. He was really like a visual learner. And so he really struggled. There was one teacher, and I won't name her name, but she had like stuff all over the walls. And he struggled with that because there was just too much information. We wondered when he was younger if he was going to be able to get past that, but he proved everyone wrong. And it happened probably grade 10. It's been like that since day one.
I was helping my parents do the kitchen, and like there was this guy there, his name was Fred, and he was building our kitchen, and like I think I was like 17, and he was asking me what I wanted to do, and I just said like I like work with my hands. I wasn't really sure what to do, and then he's the one that said go into the trades. So then I saved up like 30 grand from all this work. I went to school, worked while I was in school, and then ended up getting a G2 of my own. Then I came to Chatham, worked for a couple companies. I quickly realized that there's a lot of negative things happening out there. So then I came to Handy Bros. I heard about Handy Bros. I knew it was professional. I just applied every single week. 3 months straight, every week I just kept coming in, dropping off a resume till they all knew me. And then Harold basically sat me down and said like, what do you want? Like, I can't hire you. He just said, I have no room. I just told him, I said like, Harold, you'll never regret it. Like, just give me a shot. Don't even have to pay me. Just give me a shot. And so yeah, he let me use a van and sent me out there, gave me some training. And I was like, after that, the rest is history. Every time he asked me to do something I hated, or every time the weather was bad or anything like this, I just always remembered my commitment to Harold. Like, do not make him regret hiring you. So I just worked super hard until, after like 3 years, I had already accomplished most things. Harold was looking at selling. He was getting kind of stressed out. In the end of the day, he was looking for someone to sell to. And since I got here, I just worked probably too much. Like I worked every other weekend. I took weekends from senior technicians who were on call. And the thing is, like, what was I going to do? I was 20 years old. So I had options. I could party with my friends, or I could get my trade down like really quick. After 5 years of doing that, like twice as many hours as what normal people would do, there probably was not another option to sell to at that point.
When I was a kid, you'd never probably guess it, but I actually had this idea that I wanted to be a doctor, actually a brain surgeon, which is kind of hilarious. I'd read this book on Ben Carson, and he was a brain surgeon, and my grandma had Alzheimer's. I was very involved in helping her every single day. I think in the back of my mind, I thought that I wanted to like cure Alzheimer's or something. But when I got to high school, I realized that I wanted to be less in the books, studying all the time to try to be this academic brain surgeon. And I wanted to be more hands-on. So immediately after high school, I was 17, the day I graduated, I moved to PEI to go see what was out there in the world. And I went to work for my uncle at his auto body shop, and that's kind of where I started my career in restoration. Probably out there for 4 years, and I can still remember that. That's what drove me home, is the fact that I was tired of living an empty, meaningless life there. It was time to come home and do something. So then I moved home when I was about 21. I was still in automotive, and I actually went to work at RM Classic Cars, which is kind of interesting because I'm right next door today, right? I'm still very integrated with the family. We're all still living together. And, Nick and I sharing everything, our hopes and dreams, right? And Nick's working at Handy Bros at this time. We were experimenting and talking about different ideas of, going into business with each other in these different avenues. And, we had actually thought, hey, maybe we should go into HVAC. Harold, at that time was 58-ish. He'd gotten offers from other large corporations, but he didn't want Handy Bros to be absorbed by one of these companies and really just shut down or completely changed to where the morals and values didn't exist anymore. He ended up actually going to Nick, and he asked him, he's like, have you ever thought about starting your own HVAC company? Of course, Nick says, no, I don't want to start something and compete against you. And Harold's like, no, have you ever thought about taking over this HVAC company? Nick's like, okay, this is something we should consider, except Nick's young. Harold wanted my dad or my uncle or someone with gray hair, really, to join Nick. It wasn't going to work with my dad, and it wasn't going to work with my uncle. And, some time passed in between. We're like, well, maybe we got to take Mitch. That's what Harold says.
Eventually, I roped him into coming and joining me. I actually had other options first that I considered, but obviously, it was destined to be Mitch.
I have no degrees, no background, no experience. Of course, we're like, should we even be doing this? And I remember when it was like being announced to everyone, I have that gut-wrenching feeling inside, like, how are they gonna, I'm scared, right? Ultimately, like, you just have to have the courage to press forward. And it's like, no matter what happens, we're just gonna keep going. But the team was definitely very receptive and got behind us. So that was good. That was 8 years ago. Back then, I think we had 35-ish, 40 employees maybe. Today there's, we're pushing 150 and it seems to be growing faster than I can keep track of. A lot has changed, that's for sure.
He's a great father, loves his kids, he works super hard. He understands how important a business is and that, it feeds your family. You got to take care of it.
And so now there's 4 of us today, me and Jess, Leo, and Georgie. Now really, I just get to bring my family into it and they get to be a part of this giant whirlwind, right? I realize that there's nothing really special about me. I'm a conduit and God's working through me in this company. And someday it's going to be for something great. What that looks like, I don't know. Sometimes God takes the least qualified to do the most amazing things. And that's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah, Mitch is loyal, he's faithful, he's a solid guy, he's a wizard at marketing. He's outspoken, he does all the speeches and does super well with it.
Without Nick's influence in my life, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And without his influence in my life today, I wouldn't be pushed to be continuously better. Do you really need that accountability? The answer is yes. Everyone needs accountability or everyone fails. He will sharpen you always to become a better person, right? And so if you cut a corner or do something wrong around him, both like morally, just character-wise, whatever the case might be, he will call you out on it and challenge you to be a better person. Well, I don't know where he got the boldness from or when that actually happened, but it changed at some point. And now he does it with like boldness and courage like nobody I've ever seen.
At the end of the day, if you really care about people, you have to hold them accountable. In life, I just realized if I don't say something, I'm pretty sure nobody will. The pain from the truth that you deliver does not hurt as much as the consequences to continue. The little bit of pain I maybe give you in the truth hopefully saved you from greater pain. In the last year, I got married. We traveled the world. To the wedding, we had at Handy Bros. It was perfect. The way it was all set up, the way the sun was setting, the weather, everything was perfect. And then even the honeymoon, traveling around, was great.
The Bible says that a brother was born for the time of adversity. It means that like those hard times, that's what a brother was born for. To fight with you through those hard times. And Nick has just been that warrior with me. Through thick and thin, there's nobody I'd rather do it with. As far as we're concerned and the future of Handy Bros is concerned, there isn't really a world in our minds where the Handy Bros today does not have, Nick and I at the top of it.